Hey guys, Tim Richardson here. Thanks for joining us for our 5 big buying mistakes that you can avoid when you're buying an RV. So if you're in the right place, thinking about an RV, then we're gonna bring in some serious information I've got, and I'll introduce you in just a second to an expert here. And we are ready for some questions. Find the chat area while we're waiting for everybody to get logged in. Find the chat area. This is where you're gonna ask your questions, but start off by just telling us what city you're watching from. We've got Kathleen up in Spokane Valley buying in Florida. Nice. Down in Florida. Where's Spokane Valley?
Spokane, Washington,
that's what
perhaps?
I thought, but then she said buying in Florida. Yeah. So that must be where she's up there watching, but she's going to actually buy it.
Right. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, let's do some shout outs while we get everybody in here. Susan's out in Colorado. Must be nice. Good morning out there, I guess. Out west. We're in Ohio. Right near Columbus, Ohio, about 45 minutes west of Columbus, Ohio. Here we go. Rusty in Ormond Beach, Florida. Barbara in Missouri. I used to live there, so I can call it that. Judy, it's probably hot and humid there right now, right? Judy's in Allen, Texas, doing the whole research thing. This is the place to do research. Thank you guys for taking time to do the research. This is the way to do it, especially these days when things are getting a little out of kilter in the RV industry. Steve, Salt Lake City, thanks for joining us. Sarella in South Florida, Mark in Texas, Chris in Georgia, Mariah in Long Beach, California, out all the way out there. We have James in Cape Coral, Susan, she says here this morning. It is here. Okay, Becky in Georgia. Man, you guys are awesome. We have a great group. I can't wait to answer a lot of questions. This is where you're going to type them in. Don't worry. We're going to record this whole thing. We're going to send it to you via email about 2-3 hours after this event. You'll get an email with a link to the replay. So if your significant other missed it or whatever, you only catch half of it, you can go replay it. So, and we'll also post it up on the RV Wholesalers. RV Wholesalers will post it up on their YouTube page. So just subscribe to that, and you can get this one and some others training. So anyways, let me introduce you to Josh Durnell. Thank you for taking time out of your crazy schedule to share with these folks. And we've got some 5 big buying mistakes. Actually, we have more than 5, and can't wait for you to enlighten us on how the whole pricing thing's working right now.
Oh, goodness.
Give them some ways to save like some serious money, even in a crazy time. So thanks again for taking time to do this.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me on here. We got a lot of recent things since I've done the last webinar that we can kind of fill in and update these lovely folks on. So glad to be here, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And so I've been loving doing this. The guys from the owners of RV Wholesalers, Mike and David, asked me, said, Tim, we've been school teachers, like we love to educate people. Can you take this and find people like Josh to answer the tough questions and just equip people? Obviously, RV Wholesalers can't sell, they can only sell 5,000 of 600,000 RVs sold or whatever. And but why not help everybody? So all of you, no matter where you're at in the country and where you need to buy from, are taken care of and don't get taken advantage of. And that's the hardest thing I know. Josh, you're the same way. It's like you don't want to see people get ripped off, and doesn't mean they have to buy from you. But so that's our motivation behind this, and answering a lot of questions. So let's dive in. Here's my first camping trip. So that's my the first RV. My dad actually built that thing, and we lived up in British Columbia, Canada at the time, and went on this little trip, a little vacation trip up to Boot Lake. But there's only one way in. So when this huge tree right below Josh there fell across the road, that was our only way in. And so we had to camp out there waiting for the forestry service to show up and cut this thing out of the way so we could get our truck. And we were actually pulling a little boat trailer behind that. But I remember as a little guy sleeping out there at night in that little lean-to, and I wake my mom up like 2 in the morning. He's like, Mom, I just want to sleep inside the RV. So she lets we go sleep inside the truck camper thing. And then the next morning, my brothers were walking around, and they find these huge, I kid you not, I don't know how big they were at this point, but I remember them finding bear prints all around our campsite. And I was just like, now I'm like, RVs saved my life. I have a special place for RVing. So ever since then, love camping, taking the family already to Jellystone Campground already this year. Been doing a lot of different campgrounds. Grew up on a camp, actually. So campfires are in my history. But what about you, Josh? Did you ever do any camping when you were a kid?
I certainly did. I grew up in a campgrounds, actually. So that's all of my friends, that are outside of school. I got to hang out with them on the weekends, when they come up and camp. So, but yeah, I've owned two now as well. So we've pretty well adverse. It's kind of my life, if you will. I mean, it's all I've really been around, So yes, sir. It's just kind of a second nature to me, if you will. But yes, of course.
That's awesome. I know you've helped a lot of people get into campers, and you've camped yourself. And
I don't have any cool stories like you. I just go out and try to relax and, shut the cell phone off and just kind of listen to the birds for a couple of days, But hey, yeah, that's Still,
was one of your campers a toy hauler?
Yeah, yep. I had a toy hauler. So we do a lot of, or did a lot of, before work took off like this. Did a lot of things with car racing. Did a lot of things with side by sides, 4-wheelers and stuff. We'd go out to the woods. We'd hang out for a couple days, me and the guys, and just kind of get away, and that was our fun. But I think I've taken off a total of like 5 days in the last year and a half. So it is what it is. But yeah, I actually gave that to a couple that I had known. They're local, and they're using it much more than what I was able to. So at least I'm thankful for that. So they're enjoying it more than what I could. So that's all I could ask for, right? So
yeah, that's awesome. Let's just dive into it. Not asking for the out the door price. That's one of the big mistakes people make, I think, a lot of times, is they just assume that they've got enough information from the sales rep, and hey, let's just give them a deposit, and then or they're starting to do some shopping and they're comparing apples to apples, they think, but that's not always the case,
Sure.
Because explain what folks need to watch out for in this area.
So yes, diving right in. The out the door price is obviously the final bill of what you're paying when you're picking up that unit or when it is being delivered to you. Okay. It can be many fees. This is basically strategized to tell you the most important ones of what you will see your typical RV dealership have. However, there are a lot more things to be, especially now, a lot more tactics, a lot more put it in simple terms, dishonesty is happening. I'm hearing this every day. And long story short, this is our goal. We want to make sure that you guys are aware of what's going on and how to combat that. Obviously, would we love to earn your business? Absolutely. Maybe give us a chance. We're not hoping that this is that's not our only intention of doing these things, of course. But at the end of the day, like Tim said, we can't sell all 600,000 campers. Believe me, I wish we could. And that's just new. That's not including the used ones that were sold within this last year. But we can't sell 600,000 campers out of this location alone. However, we still, you never know what happens down the road. If you overpay for something now and you want to trade it into me later, because that's when it is what it is, it's still going to affect us in some way or another. We just want to get everyone, on the same page, let you be informed of what's going on. The biggest mistake, which is what has motivated us to do these webinars, is not asking for the out the door prices, being subject to a advertised price, and then later on finding out that you are now at the mercy of said dealership because of the things that they're trying to toss on the deal or to slip underneath the rug here and hope that you don't question them about. Ultimately, the out the door price, again, that consists of every single thing that dealership has to do, touch, perform, everything. Out the door numbers, 100%.
Taxes and everything.
Tax, sales tax, fees, every single thing out the door. A lot of what is happening right now, especially because, I'm sure I'm not the only one that's seeing this. Everyone I'm talking to is seeing the same thing. There's no campers out there. There's literally no campers to find right now. You might get lucky. I'm not saying you will, but you might. With that being said, a lot of people are being fairly dishonest about the price that you will be locked into or the price and how it will change during the time of ordering the camper and taking possession of it. Okay. That's a big one. And I have a lot to say about that. So we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, very, very, layman's terms, what is the out the door price? In some cases, the salesman or finance guy, whoever you're talking to, they may still try to say, this is the price of the camper. This is the price, okay, the camper cost. They're going to try to use certain terminology. That way, if you do bring it up, oh no, this is the price of the camper. I wasn't lying about that. However, I got to charge you $1,000 to prep it, $500 to clean it, $100 to do the walkthrough. These things continue to add up and pile on, and now for what you thought you were driving, several states away for $20,000 is now 25 or maybe even 30. It just depends on who you're working with, So ultimately, we just like to not have surprises. We don't want those shocks or shell shocks, if you will. We most certainly don't want you to have a bad experience. I mean, those, and that's I believe that's the motivation behind these dealerships that do that. They know that you're never going to talk to them again because there's not going to be any service after the sale. I mean, whatever the case may be. But while they have you now, they're going to get every dollar out of your pocket.
Well, they have leverage too, because they have probably 3 people waiting for the same RV. If you say no, or like, oh, I didn't realize that, and walk away, no big deal for them.
Is what it is. They'll keep your deposit, and they'll still find a fool that they will sell that camper to, that wants it bad enough.
But not these guys that are watching.
But well, clearly, because they're interested enough in being informed and understanding what's going on from the perspective of somebody that they would truly buy an RV from and go through the process with. I'm not using this as my podium, but I'm using my experience as my leverage, if you will, to say, hey guys, I know what I'm talking about. Please don't be subject to this. I hear it enough on the phone, and it's a very difficult conversation to have. I'm already seeing people from last year, whether or not I sold to them or not, they're coming back this year already. They're wanting to trade in 2021. My first thing is why. It might be something wrong with it. Maybe it's not what they wanted, whatever. But a lot of people are telling me we didn't think we'd enjoy it this much. Now we want something bigger, which is cool, right? But a lot of those people, let's just say a handful. I mean, let's say if you bought it, that same camper I could have sold you for 20, you probably spent closer to 28 for it down in Texas. It could be used 4 times. That's fine. I can't give you that same price for it you paid. It's going to be a insulting offer, and I don't want to do that. So, and again, that's kind of the goal. We don't want to see anybody overpay even $1. RVs are depreciating factors very, very quickly, mind you. You shouldn't be paying any more for it than you absolutely have to. So that's, again, kind of the goal of all of this here. But yes, that's go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's great. Let's dive into some of these hidden fees that you're seeing, and then I bet you got some crazy stories just from the last week or two,
a couple
of things you've heard. So share those, and then I don't want to forget what you brought up, the whole pricing thing and how that's evolving and changing.
Absolutely.
And we got to help them with that. That wasn't even on my list of one of the 5, but that should be.
Well, I was going to say, after you hear a couple of these stories, you may have to even go through and do a couple more slides because this is what we've been talking about here, Tim. We've been informing people of this stuff for the past, let's just say year, basically. Things have changed a lot since then, right? I mean, these are still fees you see on almost every single person's purchase agreement. However, now there's other fees and there's other things to be concerned about. So this is, if anything, this is the OG starting point, original, where it started at, the origin of it, if you will.
I'm going to give you guys a download of this. So there's a PDF. I'm going to pop that up right now. You get ready to share some of this with us, Josh. So look in your chat area. There should be a little place for downloading this file. So it's a 1-page free PDF right here. So you don't have to write all this down. So, all right. Jump in some of these things, Josh. We've got one that's number 1 is a PDI. What is that?
You see it? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yes,
so pre-delivery inspection is what PDI stands for. And this is something you're going to want to have happen, because PDI is where basically when the factory creates a brand new trailer, they ship it to the dealership, and it's the dealership's job to do an inspection of that trailer. It's kind of like the second wave of quality control for a factory, I like to say. Mm-hmm. They do their quality control, they give it a road test and get it to the dealership, and then they pay the dealership basically to do another complete exam of this trailer. In your case, it's like 180 points on a checklist on a iPad that they go through. They make sure the hot water heater fires up and gets hot. They make sure. It takes a long time. It's a lot of inspection.
If they're truly doing it.
Right. That's why it's important.
That's the key.
Yeah.
And so
you can tell sometimes.
You can.
You
hear these
turn on a furnace
stories.
And you smell oil or smoke, then that means they didn't actually turn that thing on and burn it off for
furnace needs to be ran for almost an hour. I mean, and it sucks doing it in the summertime because you're sweating in there while you're doing the rest of the process. But if it's not done exactly, your smoke alarm is going to go off. All of these things, you're going to smell a very distinct smell of a burning oil, and it fills the whole coach is hazy, it's smoky. You'll know if your trailer was truly prepped or not. What I'm finding though, more coincidentally, is the people that are charging you for this aren't really prepping your camper.
Oh, geez. So they're charging and they're not even doing it.
They already made the money. Why do I need to employ a shop full of 12 people if I'm charging each customer, let's just say $1,200 on average for a prep fee? Why do I have to have a shop full of 12 people when I'm already getting my money? And let me back up. So what I'm saying is, guys, this is a brand new camper. If you see that you're subject to a preparation fee, a PDI fee, pre-delivery inspection, whatever, if you see you're subject to that, at least make sure it was done. But if and when that dealership prepped it and they find things wrong with it, the manufacturer pays me to fix those things, and they pay me
the full rate.
a lot of money. Right. They pay me my going rate. I'm doing just fine. You know what I mean? But you shouldn't be subject to it. And again, coincidentally, those people I'm seeing that do have that fee on there, they're the ones that have problems as soon as they get home. Hey, this is leaking. Oh, this wasn't sealed. I smell that smell we're referring to. There's no propane. It's ridiculous. Mike, he had a thing, being charged for the power cord that comes with the trailer.
Oh,
I hear about that all the time. I laugh every time someone says that. It's like, so, is the power cord included? Yes, it comes from the factory. You don't charge me for that? No, I would have to literally take it out of the camper.
I heard a dealership up in Michigan.
They take it out and they box it.
And then sets a few things like the cover for the spare tire, sets them on a table, says, hey, here's some accessories. Would you like to purchase these?
It's literally the power cord, it comes with the camper, but it's not boxed or anything 90% of the time. He puts it in a really nice box. He's got his label on it and everything. He's coming out smelling like a rose to how it appears, but really this is a very deceitful thing. I mean, this is why we're trying to inform people, power cord comes with every camper. If you're being charged for that, run. There's a million people that sell RVs. Why would you be subject to the one person, if you will, that's going to do that to you? Don't be at all. It's not. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, that's just one of the few major ones, if you will. Again, you should not be subject to a preparation fee. Not at all. What I have heard is that when you try to, because again, that's not something that they typically show you up front that you have in the buyer's order, if you will. So when you get there and you're in between the closing room and taking your camper out the lot, and you start questioning them, oh wait, this wasn't discussed. $1,299 or $1,500 for a prep fee. What is this? I've heard, and again, this is from other people's mouths, not mine. I'm just giving you what I've heard. But that's when they start to get really offensive. It's when they start to treat you very, very crappy. Is that $1,299? You mean the process that I have to do because what do you just want it to leak when you get it there? Do you not want me to check it? Have you seen how fast they build these things? These things are crap. If you don't want me to go through it, fine. But it's already done. We charge you for it. It is what it is. But for the future, everyone does this, or they'll make up some story. They'll try to make you seem like you're the person that's uneducated and uninformed and don't know what you're talking about.
After your kids just walk through it, they're excited. Like your camping trips that weekend. It's like, what are you going to do? Walk away?
They all got their bunk beds picked out, everything. And seriously, exactly, Tim, what do? Walk away? Are you going to walk away over $1,200, especially if you just waited, how many months for your RV?
You gotta wait again.
You're not waiting. You're at the mercy of that dealership 100% of every time. No one is, I'm sure there are some very prideful people out there that would be smart enough to walk away just out of spite, but the average person is getting taken advantage of 100% of every case. And that's what our goal is to try to stop here. So
Lionel says about this one that did have a fee for this PDI, and the oven and exhaust fan didn't work when I got home. So
there's no way they really tested that.
Yeah, there's no way.
And you know what the funny thing is? If the dealership did prep it, they would have got an extra $150 back just by fixing that. You know what I mean? It might be small, but it probably needed replaced or worked on or something. So your time and your effort and the manpower involved, they would have not only gotten that fee, whatever they charged you for it, Lonnie, but then they would have paid their shop guys even more. it's like they're, yeah. I mean, why, if you're going to be greedy, why not just do the whole 9 yards, right? I mean, but they're taking it from you guys, and it shouldn't be. This is something the manufacturer pays them to do if they are properly doing the procedures. Okay.
And you said that's anywhere. You see sometimes those fees $1,200 to $1,600.
The cheapest I've ever seen was $899. The most expensive I've ever seen was $2,495. That was on a Class C motorhome. I mean, probably I think his buyer's order said something like $89,000. I sold him the same camper for $72,000, and it didn't have any of those fees on. So not only was he getting screwed, he wasn't even getting taken out to dinner, and put it out that way. I mean, it was yeah. So
you have pre-delivery, but you also have like walkthrough. Sometimes those kind of go hand in hand. What is a walkthrough?
Just basically explaining like where everything's located and how everything works.
Training session for
exactly,
you.
And it's kind
of your phone out, take a video.
Sure,
so you don't forget. But
it's kind of your opportunity to inspect the unit, right? I mean, make sure everything. That's where you know how to use it. You don't have any questions. That's some people do charge you for that. I think that's a cost of business. I mean,
yeah, I saw one couple that was here doing an interview with us for one of our shows just recently. That's what they said. It was like $1,200 for a walkthrough.
For a walkthrough?
That's what they said.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've never heard that, but that's insane.
Up with their PDI.
With and it could have been multiple, thing. Right?
Yeah.
That one dealership I was telling you, what do they call it? A peace of mind fee.
Yeah.
That's like 4 different things. Like they say your propane, your battery, your power cord, and then they call it a walkthrough, but really it's their PDI. All they're doing is they're just charging you for the PDI, right? Because the unit should already come with propane, should already come with a battery, and it should already come with a power cord. You're just charging me $1,200 and calling it a peace of mind fee, and you're giving me a walkthrough and you're prepping the camper. Maybe really that's just an additional piece of my pocket fee. That's what that's what I joke about. It's like really that's what it should be called. We just need a bigger piece of your pocket. Exactly. Yeah. Let's be honest. But anyhow,
transportation. Sure. That's a big thing. If you're buying in Florida, like our friend from Washington, from Spokane.
Yep. And this is where the dishonesty starts, Tim. So this is a good example here. So, guys, every RV in the world, I don't want to say in the world, I'm sorry, but every RV that I sell, the typical average RVer that would be into, a known brand, everything Forest River, Thor, Winnebago, all those pieces, they're all built in Indiana. Okay. They do have manufacturers out west, of course, from Forest River that do, I want to say more of like the, cheap, presentable units, not anything like high end, but more or less like your entry level campers. They do produce some of those out west. Long story short, 95% of campers in the United States come from Indiana. Mm-hmm. They all start at that place, and then they're transferred to the dealership that they're sold from. So Florida, for example, if you were buying a new RV, you will be subject to a transportation fee, freight fee. What there's again different terminology, but it is the cost associated with getting the RV from the location which is manufactured to the location which you are buying it from. Okay, Florida and Texas are 2 great examples because those dealers are, I don't want to call them smart by any means. I don't want to give credit where it's not due, but they are willing to be dishonest about this fact. And the reason I say that, and before I get too ahead of myself, I don't like to speak bad about my competition. I think it's healthy. It's necessary. But there's a good way of doing it. And there's also reasons that the term stealership has been, found. You know what I mean? There's people out there that will put it this way, you're forgotten about before the ink is dried. Okay. With that being said, though, a transportation fee is a cost of doing business. That dealership has to transport it from A to B. It has to be done. And unlike the car industry, like, they might charge me, let's say $2,000 to get 10 cars from, New Jersey to Texas. But that's 11 pieces I can sell. And I got to split $2,000 up against 11 pieces. That's not that bad. That's a couple $100 a piece. Well, with an RV, every single one of those is hand delivered behind a vehicle or driven, if it's a motorhome, to that location. That's why when you're, from Florida, hey, my brand new motorhome, it's got almost 2,000 miles on it. What the heck? It was driven there. And if anybody tells you otherwise, I promise you it wouldn't be the case. If they put them on a flatbed,
maybe they drive the last half of the leg backwards
in reverse and try to reverse. Yeah. But if people say like sometimes I want to say like 1 out of 300 customers, they'll say, when it comes to delivering at this day, so it's going to be trailered out here, right? I said, well, if that were the case, my my cost of $2,000 would have gone to $4,500. I mean, you don't understand what it would take to perform this, right? But anyway, they're all delivered one at a time to each individual dealership, unless it's the really tiny pop-ups or the little 12-footers. Those can be doubled up or whatever. But still, that costs just as much money as just delivering one would. So there's no savings, if you will. Long story short, this is a cost of doing business. You'll find it two ways. One version of the dealership is going to have a fee associated with that. Mine's $360. That's all it costs to get anything Class A or a little, travel trailer camper here, $360. Other dealerships, like in Texas or in Florida, they can't compete with my prices simply because they have to make the same trip. Well, sorry, they have to get it from the same place. They have to make a much different trip with that. Okay, and there's a lot of, especially gas right now, Tim. Where we at $3, I think $3 a gallon here. It gets much worse in other larger cities. So that is a huge factor in why driving for the deal is a very popular thing. Who would want to spend $5,000 more to pick it up in Texas, even if you can see the American flag flying in that dealership lot from your backyard? Does it really? I mean, I've always been the type to travel for the deal, but you're buying the same thing. If it's a brand new camper, you're buying the same thing. It started in the same place. It's again, it just was way more expensive to get down there. I'm personally going to take the trip and go up to Ohio or one of the surrounding states that offers a much lower price because of their cost of doing business. And I'm going to pick up the same thing and I'm going to make a camping trip out of it. That's my personal preference. I know some people may call me crazy, but I mean, then I'll call you crazy. You're buying an RV. What are you going to do? Camp in your backyard? You're going to be traveling with it, right? So,
did you see a question that just came in? Sarah asked, what are the best states to buy an RV? How about we flip that backward and say, what are the worst states to buy an RV, just because of prices that you've seen? Sure. Where they really expand.
Well, and it is actually, I mean, I don't want to call this a secret, but I've heard from enough people now that I think it's a widely known concept, if you will. Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida would be the four worst states to buy a new RV from. That is simple. I mean, Texas, for example, is the largest RV capital of the world. There are plenty of dealers down there. It's just the way that they do business, and again, we'll touch base, but long story short, that is, I don't want to call it the worst because they can be more competitive, but I've heard horror stories as far as just negotiating a deal in Louisiana and Alabama for sure. Florida is just proud. I mean, that's where all of the seniors go to retire, so they got money and they're going to be taken advantage of, and that's why you see such higher prices in Florida. I mean, that's my honest opinion because they have no other reason, but people keep paying them the astronomical prices. So therefore, why would they ever give it? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, closer to the manufacturer, Sarah, they're manufactured in Indiana. There's one or two guys in Indiana that would probably compete with my price. They don't offer the service that we do. We're here in Ohio. I'm the only wholesaler dealer in Ohio. Other people may advertise that but once they include their fees, it's not necessarily the case. And then there is one gentleman in Michigan, but that would just be a higher cost of doing business or a longer drive for you, depending on where you are. But
another tip that this reminded me of. Make sure that you don't pay sales tax on that transportation piece. Like, they should make sure they separate that out on
it should be below the line. Right? Yeah, exactly.
So your sales agreement should have that split out as this is the transportation cost. So you don't have to pay, your purchase tax on that sales tax.
Of course. That's a good idea.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, transportation fees, it's gonna be included, but it could be rolled into the price in which you're paying. That might be why, the guy in Indiana is $2,000 or I'm sorry, $20,000. The guy in Ohio might be $20,100, or guy might in Ohio he might advertise $19,500, but then he's got to charge you that once you get there. It's just know about it. That's half the battle. We want you guys to know about the fee so you can ask how much it is, where's it included, because like Tim, like you said, if it's rolled into the cost of the camper, guess what? You're paying sales tax on that, aren't you? I mean, that can be but anyway.
Yeah. No, that's good on hidden fees. Before we get into talking about used versus new and some ways to, get the most out of your trade-in, all that kind of stuff. And then we go into some financing where I know you got some killer information to give them that will save them a lot of money on that side. But before all that, really need to talk about price. This is new, like you said. This is really something interesting that's come up like you said, in this past year. And dive into that real quick. I just put up a poll to see how many this is their first time purchasing an RV, so I'll let you know how that
that'll
goes.
Be helpful. So right now in the RV industry, no stock pieces are being made. Okay, I'm getting 500 calls a day. Hey, you got this in stock? Hey, you got this? Hey, when's it coming? What's, when are you going to expect it? I will save, everyone in this chat room some time here. They are not building stock campers unless you have your name.
Yeah, tell me what you mean by stock.
An in-stock camper is for a dealership. Okay, so if I order 500 campers that are coming in to me, that means that not one of them is sold to a customer, right? That's a stock pice. A retail.
It's like I'm pre-ordering for our dealership a big lot of model or whatever. Okay.
Exactly. So stock inventory is what dealerships sell to customers. Customer retails are what they are manufacturing right now and have been for 12 months. Okay. A retail has your last name attached to it. It's your order that you placed, that you have your commitment on. That power that comes with that puts you to the front of the line because they are only building retail. So just us right now, Tim, we have 2,800 campers on order that will not be touched until they are sold. What I mean by that is that those were stock pieces that we have submitted to be manufactured. But they're only building retail. So what I have to do is I have to take my purchase orders. I have to attach their name to it, put them together. It goes to the front of the line. Okay. Long story short, it's taken a long time. Motorhomes right now, if anyone's trying to buy a Mercedes-Benz chassis, good luck. You won't get it for over 6 months. Literally not a single one to be found other than what they're sitting on right now. There's not a single one to be found. So here's the problem though. Prices keep going up. Lumber, steel, aluminum, everything. The appliances are harder to get. We're getting everything from overseas, and now they're running out of things. The workforce is cut in half because we're being paid more to stay at home than what we are to work. There is such a problem with the world right now, and we're seeing it firsthand. So here's the thing. Price increases, okay? This is at least the first place I want to touch on is to let you know what is going on. But price increases. If you place an order on June 10th, that camper won't be here. Again, I'm picking on Mercedes motorhomes right now. Okay, don't freak out about travel trailers or anything like that. But to get a Mercedes-Benz motorhome right now will take you at least 6 months. So let's just say that you have one on order and you're expecting it to come in. The prices keep going up. We are not price protected at all from the manufacturers. Okay. So as they continue to increase those, hey, lumber's going up again, steel's going up again. I'm seeing manufacturers take options off of the coach because they can't produce them. I'm seeing them change things because it's a cheaper way of doing it, or what. I'm seeing everything under the sun right now that is either 100%. I mean, put it this way: it's the first time I've seen anything like it. Okay, but with all of that being said, dealerships aren't price protecting their customers. So if you put down, let's say, a deposit, today, and in 6 months from now that camper shows up, I've already seen at least 16% increase from what it was today versus what it was last year. And all of those people that were too afraid or too concerned with what was going on that did not buy last year and now have waited for this year, they hate my guts. Oh my God, it's $10,000 more. It's $5,000 more. It's this, it's that. You guys, I begged you to buy last year. I told you this is exactly what was going to happen, and it did. You can't have. I haven't raised a single one of my prices other than what I have to pay for the RV. If it costs me more to buy an RV, then yes, I have to raise my cost to offset that. However, we are the last, and this was just confirmed by the two Forest River big wigs. I won't say their name for privacy or whatever, and I don't know if I have the obligation to do so anyway. But long story short, we're the only dealership right now that is price protecting their customers, meaning that in a world full of uncertainties, in a world full of what's going to happen tomorrow, anything, at least have the peace in mind of knowing that, and especially if any of you guys that are tuning in right now are our current customers that didn't know this for whatever reason, we are price protecting you. We are the only dealership left in the country to do that. And we're crazy for doing it. We really are. I've even told management, listen, what we're competing with right now is the most dishonest dealers in the country. There's a guy that's typically, let's just say $3,000 higher than us on your average camper. He's now $3,000 below. And I brought this to the attention of the rep. I said, listen, buddy, are you cutting him better deals, or what is happening here? How is he? Well, no, Josh, he's just, they advertise what their bottom line is, but they're not price protecting. They're going to go ahead and every time that we raise the price, they're going to call their customers back and tell them, hey, they owe us more money. So I said, and you're allowing that? What, seriously? How are you okay with the idea that a dealership is doing that to customers? Why? What? How is that okay? Oh, well, I mean, it is. It's not. It's not okay. We are. I'll put it this way: we're losing the battle, okay? Because I can't tell a customer, oh yeah, his price is $3,000 lower than me, but it won't be when you go pick up the camper. You really think they're going to believe me? They're going to find out the hard way 100% of that time.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Before the contract, it was a sales agreement, and like any sales agreement, you see it, you see the bottom number, that's what you pay. What they're doing is they have a little fine print on the second page or whatever. It says what would be an example? The price may be subject to price increases by the factory, or how do they word it? I know you've seen something.
Price is subject to change upon arrival. I have in my top drawer right now 7 purchase agreements with terms and conditions from other dealerships. All say the exact same thing. One's a very large competitor of mine, and we are taking almost every last crumb off of his plate. Not only is he a convicted felon, so we won't even go there, but long story short, we're taking every last crumb off of his plate right now. And please believe me when I say that this is not right, okay? I do understand that it is an uncertain time. I do understand that it is crazy to hear, and I'm seeing all these comments come up. I'll address those in just a second. But yeah, the price is subject to change right now, even at the manufacturer. I mean, lumber is not the same today as what it was yesterday or a year from now, and it's continuing to rise. Same with everything, and all of the products that build these pieces are continuing to rise or continuing to become scarce, and that's what's hurting everything. So, and literally, just a real quick story before I answer these comments, to go hand in hand. I had a guy, he calls me. This is how I started this process here. It's been about a month ago now. I had a Rockwood Mini Light come up for sale. How? I have no idea. I think the guy couldn't get financed when it came in, or maybe life happens and I won't get into that. But I had this camper available, and basically, it was sold within about an hour, but I called a guy that was quoting on it, and he said, your price is too high. I can go up and get one on the lot right now in Wisconsin, I think it was. And I said, buddy, I don't have any competitors in Wisconsin. Never competed with a dealer in Wisconsin. If a customer is willing to travel here, I'd have already had the opportunity to earn their business. So why are we, you know what I mean? Like I've never dealt with anyone from Wisconsin. I don't even know a dealership up there. I really don't, other than the one that we were going up against. And it was so funny. I said, well, sir, it would be impossible for them to be cheaper than my price. And here's why. It's explained everything I have to you folks so far. And basically I said, so if you can get me a purchase agreement, not only will I match it as long as it is apples for apples, options for option, fee for fee, but I'll give you an extra $500 just for your troubles, because I want you to prove me wrong on this. So he does. I hear from him the next day. He gives me a purchase agreement. It's only 2 pages, okay? And this guy says he's been in sales for 25 years, so he's being very rude to me because he thinks I'm just being a salesman back. I said, no, I've been doing this long enough. I know what to look for, and there's no way physically possible that a dealership in Wisconsin is beating my price. It's just not. So long story short, gets me his purchase agreement, and on the second page, not in bold letters at all, just right above the options tab. And it was almost like it was just like a little notification, but at the same time, let's just say though, it was the smallest print on the entire 2 pages, okay? This price is subject to change upon arrival from the factory. And your signature goes not anywhere close to that. It's all the way at the bottom of the page after you've confirmed your options. They're hiding it. No way around it. And the funniest thing is though, so in my purchase agreement, I have, the unit subtotal, the discount, the sales tax, doc title, freight, deposit. That's you're out the door. Well, theirs said unit, discount, freight, prep, cleaning, walkthrough, discount, financing, deposit, And then if you were financing, check yes or no, and then what your out the door number is. And I said, sir, you've been in sales almost as long as I've been alive. And in 2 seconds, I just called. I was able to tell, this is not accurate. This, even though their fees said $0, why would they have them on their purchase agreement if they didn't intend to fill them in? Well, he got real crappy with me real fast. Oh, you're just wasting my time. Whatever. I said, no, I'm trying to save you from being screwed. My purchase agreement doesn't have those things because I don't intend to slip them in there on you. Why does theirs? Why would it even be listed if they weren't going to fill those in? And not to mention, they lied about the camper being in stock. I called that dealership, and you know what they told me? 6 weeks they could get me one. So at this time, it was before July 4th because I asked them, I said, I got to have it before July 4th. You got an awesome price. I need it now, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that one just sold, but I can get you one in 6 weeks. I said, 6 weeks? That's amazing. Even the largest Rockwood dealer can't get me one before 16 weeks. How the heck are you making this happen? Started backtracking really, really quick. That is what I'm dealing with, though, right now, guys, is the most dishonest dealerships that I've ever had the unpleasure of dealing with. Again, I think competition's healthy. Like, I don't want to be, just doing this alone. And again, I can't handle 600,000 customers. I can't. That is. I would not want to be in this industry or the seat if that were the case. But that is what people are falling for every single day, and that is my motivation to let you guys know about that. But yes, if you have an RV on order, put a deposit down. The sale ticket price might go up between your order and delivery. If that's Shannon, that's even if you get a purchase agreement. Large places, and I don't like to say names, so I'm not going to, but let's just say large dealerships that may or may not have over 100 locations. Wink, wink. They don't even give you a purchase agreement. They literally, I had this woman call me. This is the last story. I'm not trying to take up all the time. No. I had this woman call me, and this is where this first all went downhill of this year, okay? Because this is like the beginning of this year. Hey, you got this Wildwood Grand Lodge in stock? No, ma'am. I'm one of Wildwood's largest retailers right now, and I'll put it this way. I haven't had this camper in stock for it's been about 4 months since I've seen the last one, but I'm still ordering at least 10 a month because we're not price gouging. Oh, that's a shame. Well, hey, can I put a deposit down anyway? And maybe you just call me when the next one gets in. I said, excuse me? Yeah. She said, well, I mean, how long is it going to take? We start talking. And basically I told her that what the price was of current price. And she almost laughed at me. She's like, are you kidding me? That's way too high. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm one of the lowest priced Wildwood dealers in the entire country. I know where I stand. What are you talking about? That's not, are you, did you mean to say Wildwood? I'm trying to get this information. She says, I have a deposit down with 6 dealerships to increase my chances of getting an RV this year. And I said, and just out of my curiosity, how much cheaper were they on this? Oh, $4,000. I said, oh, and you're in Kansas? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Tell you what, I won't even go there, but if you can produce me a purchase agreement, send it over, let me look at it, I'll beat it. Oh, I don't have a purchase agreement. I said, what? She said, oh, no. It's a refundable deposit. I just got my name on it. I'm just waiting for it to come in. I can't wait. I got my 6 deposits out there. I'm just trying to increase my chances. I said, of what? Getting screwed? What are you talking? You don't even have a purchase agreement. You are trying to compare me to a guy that wouldn't even give you anything in writing. That's what people are doing right now, Shannon, is they're not giving you a purchase agreement because, and again, if your situation is different, that's fine. I'm just informing everyone else real quick. A lot of dealerships are not giving you a purchase agreement. It's all verbal. That way, when the camper really gets in, if and when it ever does, they have it pre-sold to 20 different people. Hopefully they'll at least call them in order, which is I think out of everything I'm about to say, the only thing that is fair in this equation. So hopefully they call them in order. Yeah. But when person A comes in, you come in, I sit in front of you, you looked at the camper, you love it, everything's good. Now it's time to talk about the price. And in between that 4 months or however long it took, I promise you it went up big time, and it will be nothing of what you discussed. And when you just start to throw a fit and cuss me out, call me every name in the book, here's your money back. Have a good day. I got 19 other suckers in line. One of them are going to buy this camper at my asking price. And considering that right now, some dealerships, if they have one in stock, they're the only one that has it in stock in the whole country. Believe me when I say that there was 100 people that went to buy that camper before you, and they were all smart enough to walk away because of the astronomical asking price, the hidden fees, or just put it simple, their experience with that place. But yes, they're going up. We're the last dealership to price protect. So anything that you do a deposit on and have something in writing, you get to see that that's the price that you pay when you get here.
While you look at some more questions, I'm going to pop up some information on not getting the most for your trade-in. I'll cover this while you get equipped to answer the rest of those questions. So number 2, not getting the most for your trade-in. That's the big question right now. It's like, and one of our attendees was asking about buying used. This is where we can help you, especially if looked like 25% of you on the poll said that this isn't your first RV. So if you're thinking about selling it, I mean, obviously this is the time to sell straight out. Like Josh would say, man, don't come to us for a trade-in because we can't give you what you can get out on the open market. So a couple places real fast, you can put it on Facebook Marketplace is a good one. Just get some nice pictures of it. Doesn't even have to be nice actually right now. Just get some pictures, get it out there. People will come from multiple states. It's crazy right now. And then you've got RV Trader. That's another one. Pay a little bit, but it gets you a really good exposure. Those are a couple places. Obviously Craigslist, but that one has a lot of scammers, so I'd probably do that last. But you can, you will definitely get interest. Probably within a day, you'll have that thing sold. Everyone's selling so fast. RV Wholesalers doesn't even have any used opportunity. They can't even keep them in more than a few minutes. So it's definitely in your best interest to do that. And that's what I was wondering, like used versus new, because man, right now it's like the used prices are so high. There's one lady that she just came and picked up, and I interviewed her just the other day, and she said, I just drove from the state of Washington, and I have had this RV for 5 years, sold it, and made more than I paid for it. And I mean, it's just a great time to be selling, not a great time to be buying used.
It's really the only reason you would be selling. Yeah. And that's like, as soon as I'll tell a customer, man, sir or ma'am, I don't have the product that you're looking for. They are all on order. No one else is getting you one anytime soon. You just got to hurry up and wait, okay, well, what do you got for used? Again, I can tell who has been actively looking the last couple of months and who's just getting into the market. You could usually find a used camper significantly less. Not now. And what Tim is trying to say with the trades, like, yeah, we don't want to insult you, but we also want you to get into the new RV on the best foot possible. By selling yours outright is going to be that way. We're still taking in trades, but they're, as Tim said, not available for longer than about an hour. I got a list of over 50 people in my Excel spreadsheet. Yeah. I know exactly what they're looking for. Some will take anything. Wow. They're dying. So they're gone within a minute. But we're still getting them. They just don't stick around, but they're going for way too much right now. And that's the only reason people are selling. Why? Especially the one that they just got last year, whatever the case is, they know the market is crazy and it's a very tempting thing. And greed always wins. It truly does. So it is going to be even more difficult. I mean, and that's kind of what, how I wanted to tie into the price protecting and everything. Guys, you will not die if you don't have an RV by July 4th.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, they could rent one.
Your life will not be over. And there are so many other opportunities out there. I got people right now that are telling me, I'll just wait till next year. Why? And make the same mistake that everyone else just did and pay way more than what you should. I'm trying to keep you from doing that. That's okay. I'll just, I mean, some people either make it seem like if they can't get a camper right now, they'll never camp again in their lives. Why are we being irrational? I mean, for some things that people like, I just, again, storyteller, sorry. I was selling a Wildwood X-Lite for $23,000. I told the guy it was going to take about 12 to 14 weeks to get in. That's accurate. Oh, I can go get one today. I said, where? A Camping World. Oh, let me guess. Probably local to you. Yeah. They're right down here. It was in North Carolina. I said, well, I have to know, what are they asking for it? 36. 23, wait 14 weeks, 36,000, get it today. Buy a headstone too while you're at it. So I swear to God, Tim, I told him that. I said, buy a headstone while you're at it. No, you'll be buried in that camper. Do you think there's another person out there that is foolish enough as you to get you out of that camper when you're done using it? Buy a headstone. Make it look just as pretty, because you will be buried in that camper. Even if he turned around and traded it in tomorrow, his value would be, I mean, if I could sell it to him at 23 before tax, and let's just say I would give him 19.5 the next day he brought it back, imagine the number. I mean, you see what I'm saying? And I probably, it's just people are so crazy, but it's so funny right now. It's just like I can't believe, you're not going to die. In 3 years after you've made all these memories and all of these exciting adventures and stuff, you really think you're going to worry about the 3 months it took to build you an RV? You're not going to, I promise you. But don't make a terrible impulse decision just to get it today. I don't care if your wife is beating you with a stick every second you don't have a camper in the driveway. She's gonna beat you up even more when she can't buy anything for the next 3 years because you're making a mortgage payment on an RV, right? I mean, it's just don't be silly right now, guys, and don't be subject to these hidden fees. That's the goal right now. I'm seeing too much of it, and it sucks. I mean, a little bit about me, guys. I'm one of the owner's sons. I've been doing this all of my life. I truthfully don't have a moral bone in my body that I could wrong somebody like willingly, knowingly know that I am screwing you over. And there's people out there that can do it 5, 10, 15 times a day and sleep just as good as I am at night. Don't fall for those tactics. Don't be subject to that type of, you know what I'm saying? There's just too much of it going on right now. And so, I mean,
that's a good lead in right before that. Not understanding terms in the RV financing when you're talking about the upside down story, getting buried in it. Oh my word, the tombstone. I haven't heard that. That was funny. But yeah, there's some really this not knowing the big dealer finance secret. I had no idea this was the way this all worked, this industry. So I want you to kind of pull back the curtain that you guys did for me a while back.
Sure.
I didn't realize this was happening between banks and your dealerships. RV dealerships. So.
Sure.
And it's not just RVs.
I was just getting ready to say that.
So dive into that for a second.
This is not just RVs, guys. Any time that you are up against making a large retail purchase, a car, a boat, a motorcycle, an airplane, submarine, I don't care. If you are going to be financing through the dealership that you buy it from, they're making more money from you in financing that RV than what they would to sell you that RV. Isn't that crazy?
Wait, say it again?
The dealership is making more money, more profit from financing your RV than they are selling you the RV. Crazy. Because, so here's how I explain it. I think this is more of a layman's terms type of thing, but let's just say that if you come to me and I do the credit application with you, I'm talking to you about your personal history and stuff. We're writing the loans. We're doing all the hard work that the bank would normally do, right? But I'm doing it for them. So they say, well, thank you for being a team player. I literally had to do nothing, and you're giving someone this business to me. I'm there. The bank is the one that's going to make all the interest, and that's truly where the real money is at, especially the longer you borrow. Okay, but they're going to be giving me a sizable check, basically.
So it's like a commission almost.
It is. It is a commission, and typically your average RV dealer, they don't want you to know about this. Okay, they want all of that money to go in their pocket, and then they're going to inflate your interest rate so that they get more money back from the banks. It's a pretty good deal. That's why you have most dealerships that have paved parking lots and a big privacy fence that goes around and right in the middle of the city, or, it's got a real good location off the highway and marble floors in their bathrooms and, all of these unnecessary things, or 100 locations. Believe me, if you could have 100 locations by selling campers cheaper than what guys like myself can, yeah, it's not possible. It's truly not. Okay. So anyway, the bigger the the bigger the dealership, the more wide known your name is, the more you get a charge for an RV, because people honestly don't think twice to shop around this. Hey, I know you, I'm comfortable with you. I've seen you on TV. I'm glad to be here. Let's get this over with. And long story short, I'm getting paid thousands of dollars.
Okay, so it's not just a few $100. We're talking like the bank.
Thousands of dollars. Your jaw would hit the ground. You guys really want to know?
Yeah.
Let's just say on a $30,000 purchase, average, I'm getting about $3,500 in reserve money from the bank. What's that, 10% plus a little bit? Lobster and steak all day long if we played the game like the rest of the guys, okay? What we do, and this is a good way to kind of put my money where my mouth is. If you guys, anybody did a quote request on my website right now, let's just say Heritage Glen travel trailer, it'll tell you in your quote request that you receive that you're getting a $3,000 financing discount, okay? Because, I mean, that's like the average that I would receive basically for that dollar amount. But it says, here's the discount that we're getting from the bank. You can do that math. Yeah, that's right there, about 10%. Cool, sounds good. Other dealerships, they might say, well, I'll give you $500 if you finance with me. Sounds good, right? Okay, I was going to finance anyway. May as well finance with you to get $500. That sounds good. Okay, well, now my interest rate's a 9.9%. You told me it was going to be a 5. Well, that's because you don't know that they just made about $5,000 from you without you knowing, basically, is what it equates to, okay? This reserve money, this commission check, whatever you want to refer to it as, is how dealerships are getting all of this, again, how they're able to expand, how they're able to do these things. We're making more money in financing than what we are on the RV. I give that to you, though. RV Wholesalers is very different when it comes to this, and there's some other people that have adopted this sense, but we give all of it to you. We say, hey, here, you're getting about 10% of the selling cost to you guys. And anyway, long story short, we use that as an additional way to save you money. There's other people that do compete with our prices. Not everybody competes with a price on the camper and gives you that on top, okay? They have to make money somewhere. We just make money on the camper. We don't need to make every dollar from you, but just contrary to the first story that we're talking about, they want every dollar from your pocket because they'll never see you again. I want the opposite. I want a couple pennies because, I mean, honestly, my goal is to get you the best price, get you the best interest rate, but the best service as well. In return, had everything worked out the way that we planned and the way we told you, and you see with your own eyes that we have your best experience in mind and your best interest in mind, you're going to send your friends, your family, everyone you love and care about, and they're all going to buy an RV from me. You'll never let someone shop again at a Gander or Camping World. You just won't, because you know that we're different here and we're going to take care of you. At the end of the day, I can take a couple pennies from your pockets and I can take a couple pennies from theirs. And that's way more of word of mouth. That's so much better than just getting over on someone really freaking hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody should, whenever they work out a deal with, whether it's car, boat, RV, they should kind of wait and hold that card to the end and then just say, hey, how much of that dealer reserve, is that what they call it? Yep. Sometimes, how much of that dealer reserve can you give back to me? I mean, man, don't be afraid to ask that, folks.
Well, and they're getting it anyway. Yeah. I mean, literally, they're going to be getting a ton of money from you behind the scenes anyway.
Didn't you say
how much of it's yours?
You maybe were the one that told me that what's happening behind the scenes is you have 12, 15 banks that you work with. And a lot of times these dealerships, they say they're going to go shop for the best interest rate, best price for you. They're actually shopping for the best.
They're seeing how much money. Bank. They're seeing which bank is going to pay me more for your business, or which margin I have that I can make the biggest. Yeah. And that's another thing too, Tim. Just real quick, your credit score, guys. Some people work all their lives to get their credit score where it is. Then very hard, mind you. It takes a lot of work. I have seen people's lives destroyed just by going to a couple dealerships. I mean, seriously, I can't even get financed a stick of gum. That dealership sends your business to every single place they work with, and then you didn't end up buying anything. That's like just like one credit pull, for example, might be 2 points or 5 points off your score. Times that by 15 at one dealership, then you go to another one and they do the same thing. I can't finance you a stick of Big Red chewing gum. What are you talking? I mean, they just ruined everything just to try to get as much from you. You got to be careful. And I tell people to shop for financing just as much as the RV. There's just as many people with both sides of the spectrum. If you have a bad experience or you're sniffing these red flags, please walk away. There's so many other people that would be actually, willing and able and happy to help you. I mean, don't get put in that position. Don't be buried in an RV. Okay. I mean,
we're getting a question. Some people like this have saved for a long time and are ready to pay cash for a purchase like this. Is there a way that they can take advantage of, like you said, what do you call it, a finance discount?
Yes.
Is there a way that they can take advantage of that and still pay cash? Like they don't want a long loan or don't even want to do any debt, but is it?
You're a smart guy, Tim. That's something I forgot. Typically, there's usually like a cash buyer in the chat that'll ask, oh, what about cash? And then I'll remember to. So I mean, to be completely truthful, the only cash buyers I've had in the last 10 years are those that have zero credit, or I mean, like possibly like a just a situation that they were dealt. And listen, I do have the cash. There's no way you're getting me approved. We'll still work with them as best as we can. But yes, so. A lot of the banks, and I'm just going to use an average, like just kind of round it up. Let's just say, because I mean, a cash buyer, what are you looking for? The best deal, right? You think that your cash is going to motivate me to get off of my price a little bit more. I'll save you some time. We're at our bottom, But if you finance with me, now I can take money from Peter and I can give it to Paul, right? Mm-hmm. So that's our secret right there. The cash buyers, though, let's just say the bank only makes you keep it open for 12 months. I'm just tossing a number out there.
Pretty common,
yes, I would say that would be the most common. They want the opportunity to make a couple $100 from you, right? But let's say you're a cash buyer, so $20,000 out the door. Perfect world, $20,000 out the door for your camper. That's a $200 monthly payment. You have to keep that loan open for a year, right? So let's do 200 times 12. That's $2,400. Okay, so $200 a month times 12 months, $2,400. That is what is your minimum balance due. Okay, that's what you have to keep open. However, if you subtract what you have to keep open from your amount borrowed, which is $20,000, you should be left with $17,600, I believe. So on that first payment, put down $17,600. Reason why is just like your mortgage, finance a $300,000 home, your payments, let's just say, $1,500, put down $2,000 every time. What's that extra money do? It goes to the principal. That's what you're doing if you're a cash buyer. Let me toss that extra couple thousand at you, since that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the best deal. Now just put all of that money towards the principal and pay it off on the 12th payment. You get the title in hand, and honestly, I've done the math before, but even like a 5% interest rate on $2,400, I believe is less than $150.
Yeah.
If I saved you $2,000-$3,000, what does that matter if they're getting $200-$300 from you?
You give back the $2,500, say, from the bank, the reserve money. Mm-hmm. Give that back to them, and they basically run away $150.
Of course.
Nice.
And it's like
cool.
Coming up to you on the street. Hey, I'll give you $2,000 if you give me $200. It sounds kind of crazy, but if you have the explanation behind it, clearly it makes sense, right? But
yeah, Barbara was asking about something, a tip for used. Make sure you get it inspected. There's some inspection services, independent ones that you could, if you're buying a used one, Barbara, that I'm going to send you a link with the replay of this whole video, and in that email, look at the very end, I'll put in there 2 inspection services that you can contract with directly to walk through it, basically do a PDI kind of thing on a used. So hopefully that'll help. Is it wiser to buy gas or diesel right now?
Well,
Judy wants to know.
Personal preference. If you're going to take anything with you, I personally, as far as like towing something behind you, car, whatever case that may be.
What do they call those when you tag along something?
Oh, yeah, a little car dolly or something like that. Is that what you mean? Yeah. If you were going to be pulling anything or going up and down mountains, I personally would still recommend diesel. There's so many factors, guys. It comes down to your personal preference, but that's where how I would be helpful to help you make a decision. If you're pulling anything, go ahead and bite the bullet, get a diesel. If you are just hopping in and you're going somewhere, get a gas engine. It's fine. It'll do as long as it gets out of its own way. You got nothing else to worry about, really. What were we going to say, Tim? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, sometimes the gas might be cheaper to get repaired, but then the diesel, you have more repair places, like semis.
Well, sure. That's a good idea.
It's kind of a combination of both.
I know. So I would say it depends on your area and what you plan on using it for. Don't just let something as silly as like gas prices, don't let that affect your decision. Know how you plan on using it and how it's going to be beneficial to you. And again, I mean, if you're in a super mountain-based area, I think I'd want a diesel. You probably get up and down a little bit easier and not be redlining the thing, tow anything behind you. Just anyway, it comes down to personal preference. I would say once you have those things narrowed down, it'll be a little bit easier to make that decision for you, so.
I'm going to run real quick through the last big buying mistakes. It is, you talked about service and things. We're going to dive into how you take care of people, like if they're buying from Ohio, because it makes sense, like, hey, I buy local, I just take it there. But it seems like it never happens that it breaks down like by your house. You know what I mean? Like I never vacation by my house. So
right.
What use is that, like taking it to my local guy when I'm 3 states away, and I'm broken down with my family. And I don't want my vacation.
And the guy 3 states away,
yeah,
you go to the back of his line.
Yeah, right.
Because you didn't buy it from him.
So tell me how you guys, I know you've worked out this, what do you call it, a nationwide service network. Mm-hmm. Can you explain that in like 1 minute? I
can try. Reason for it. We have, and I know we're getting close to the time, guys. So if anyone needs to go, we will be sending it to your email and stuff. But reason for it, guys, there's no contractual obligation. The manufacturer recommends you to buy locally because your local guy or the person you buy it from is the only person that has, without a doubt, to service your camper. If your only local dealer is a guy that is known for not having great work after the sale or great, follow up, and or if you got to keep it on the lot for 8 months before it gets touched, guess what? You're screwed. You don't go to camp that year, right? To make a long story short, there again, no contractual obligation. Your typical salesperson would say you can take this product to any dealership that sells this product. It's not the case. You can, sure you can. Doesn't mean that they have to work on it. I think of Texas as one of the more harsher states for this, simply because if you pull in with another dealership sticker, gone. They're not even talking to you. You're gone. You didn't buy it from me. I don't got time. They act like they're all busy, when they're really just smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee all day. But they're not even interested in helping you because you didn't give them a chance to screw you over during the sale. So that's their policy, out the door. Or if you find a guy that is willing to help, he's at least going to tell you, I got to take care of my customers first. So I'll get it in when I can. That could take weeks. That could take months. It is what it is. How we offset all of this, because that's a large, that's basically your entire experience after the sale. I could give you everything to a T, perfect sales, everything. Then you go get taken advantage of because you don't buy it, blah, blah, blah. We have a nationwide service network. This is what's made us who we are in this industry. So there's over 2,600. I'll say that I don't think we're 2,800, but I'll say 2,600 confidently of service centers in the United States alone, not including Canada. That if you ever break down, doesn't matter where you live in camping and traveling, but like Tim said, let's say like a motorhome. You're not just driving a motorhome around your town for fun with the kids and the dog in the back. You're going a couple states away to someplace most likely remote. That's your local dealers far away, and they're not traveling with you either. But that is when it breaks. That's when you need service. We have the ability to take care of you guys, again, no matter where you live, camp, or travel. It's simply calling and telling us where you are and what the issue is. We have and I'm not talking about the dealer locator, okay? Anybody can use that on the manufacturer's website. That's a dealership. I have a service network that it consists of service centers, people that don't sell products, but they work on them. People that don't care where you bought it or how much money I saved you. People that don't care what type of brand it is or what it says on the side. Because at the end of the day, water heater's a water heater, refrigerator's a refrigerator, microwave's a microwave, right? So anyway, to kind of gather all of that up, that's not an additional cost. That's something that we offer to every one of our customers. That is what makes us who we are in the industry. That's how we're known. Prices get you here, service keeps coming back. That's our goal. So, and there's a reason too that everyone else copies everything we do except that. And I think it's so funny too. There's even a guy that's about an hour away. He stole my name. He calls himself RV Wholesalers 1. I said, real original guy. I wonder how you came up with that. This guy's been like a gnat at a barbecue the last 10 years. Everything we do, he copies, but except that. And I want to ask him so bad. I said, why can't you do that? What, you don't want to, once that precious cash is in your pocket, you don't want to let go? No, it costs money to take care of people, and that's how they keep coming back to you. And that's why I keep getting his bad reviews on my website. once I get a hold of you. But anyway, that's the summary of the Nationwide Service Network. We have videos and stuff that explains those things, but that's what makes us who we are. So
no, that's awesome. Thank you. And the last thing, I know people have to roll out of here, but
yeah, sorry guys.
We've been getting a lot of questions about protecting this thing, like the service contract, and honestly, like the warranty that comes with these, from these major manufacturers covers you for a year, but even that is pretty limited. I was just reading through the contract this week, or the fine print.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
I was just about to bring it up.
And that's one of the biggest. There's two major manufacturers, and that's the better of the two. Mm-hmm. And that one I read today or yesterday.
It's scary.
It's scary. It's like there's so many openings in that, and it's basically like there's two types of service contracts, and I'm explaining super fast. Mm-hmm. So there's stated, where they state what's covered, certain things. And then there's exclusionary. It's like everything's covered except for these few items. So it's kind of like backwards. It's like the exclusionary is the one that's really going to take care of you and cover you a lot better. Stated, a lot of times they're charging the same price almost for the stated and packaging it up to make it look nice. But really, in the end, you look at a list of parts, and the manufacturers have done the same thing for that first year. And we looked at it. Both of us separately. And what I saw was like, oh my goodness, like basically nothing.
You're on your own. Hardly. Yeah, once it leaves a lot, you're on your own, basically. I mean, that's to put it in words.
You get a little bit more, and then after that, even less. So that's why I think Rafinita Martinez was asking, like, is it worth it? Like, oh my goodness, when you're talking about banging something down the road a lot, all these moving parts. Yeah, I think
as long as your dealership offers the exclusionary protection plan, I do absolutely believe. There's no way I would go with that one. I had one on mine. My two finance managers, they not only have the mechanical and electrical protection, they have the paint and fabric, which is like all of the other, which I think is the appearance package. Yeah. That's probably what they're calling it.
Is that worth it, do you think?
As long as it comes with the warranty. See, that's the thing. There's too much fine print these days, guys, and a lot of people are using the appearance protection. It really is just a ceramic coating, and they're saying that it's just going to make it look really nice for this year. And I mean, it is what it is. Ours at least comes with a warranty, and I've not shopped at other dealerships. I don't need to go, do all of that to find out. I hear plenty on the phones, but basically, yeah, I mean, ours at least comes with a 5-year warranty. I tell my customers, listen, you're not really even paying for that product. It takes me 3 hours to do that. That's nothing. You're paying for the 5 years of coverage it comes with, that covers punctures and holes and stains and whatever else comes with it. I haven't seen another dealership offer the same one. They're all just saying this is a ceramic coating. It's probably stuff that they're buying at Walmart. Seriously, they're just charging you twice what they should to apply it. I don't. There's too much. You got to really do your research on that stuff.
Don't be afraid to ask them too. Like, hey, send me a picture of the label. I want to see what it is.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
If they're being honest, they're not going to care. Like, it's like with you guys with walkthroughs. It's like you don't care if an inspector comes with them and spends an hour checking it out. I mean, it's like.
I had a guy here for 2 days just last week. Seriously? Yeah, I mean, it was a $200,000 motorhome, so he has every right. There's a lot of things to check, but he's here 2 days, sun up, sun down, and we're going to be delivering it to the customer. But yeah, there's things to be found, and it's a great idea though to make sure that just want to make sure we trust you, but I'm going to send somebody out just to check that thing out. Cool. No problem.
And people are asking about your contact information. I'm going to put that up here as well. Mm-hmm. And man, when you guys are getting ready to say goodbye here, put in the chat, like your dream, like what do you want to do with an RV? I know Josh and I, we talked about some of the stuff we've been enjoying doing with our RVs over the years. Here's Josh's contact information. If you have any more questions, I wish we could have got to all of these questions, but here's where you can send it. Durnell at rvwholesalers.com. Here's his extension, 877-877-4494. He can totally hook you up. I appreciate you taking time to do all this, Josh. Hey, I tell you what, if you guys take a picture, take out your phone right now, take a picture of this screen or take a screenshot if you know how to do that. I don't, but it's easier for me to do it with the camera. But take a picture, and if you email this to Josh right now, this picture, the first 2 people, how about that, Josh? If the first 2 people email you a picture of the screenshot, knowing that they hung out with us like this whole long hour, then can you give them like $500 off their delivery, a discount for their delivery, whatever state they're in? Because I know you.
Let's do. Should we do the delivery or the camper? What do you think? Or I tell you, if it's 2 people, We'll let them decide. How's
Okay.
that? Because I don't want to keep someone from, if they want to come out here and meet me. I'm kind of old
right,
school.
right.
I like to be able to meet you. So if I get, that's awesome, Tim. Thank you. And if
so
you guys
in
are
the next day or two that you're at that position, like, hey, we figured out we need this, and if you're in that position the next day or two, and,
that'd be awesome.
You're the first.
We'll just let them choose. That way, if they want to come out and meet us, we'd love to have you. I don't want to, hey, $500 off delivery, and then you want to come out. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't want to keep from that happening. But
put 500 in the subject line for the email.
That's awesome, Tim.
As long as we see this picture.
Hey, did you see? The one person just said, I just got confirmation that they're charging an admin charge.
Oh, shoot! No, I didn't see that.
So this is somebody that had been. Say, hey, no, they said that the price wasn't going to change.
Yes.
They must have called the dealership and found out that there's going to be more charges here.
This is like live TV right here.
This is great. So, hey,
sad, but again,
let us know. We're just
not.
we're just
out there picking it up. And
right.
Not knowing
There's still time to back out, obviously. So you need to be negotiating or saying, or at least for
leverage.
The love of God. Hopefully, you have a purchase agreement. That's all you could hope for. And if anything says on there is it is subject to change, and you signed it. It is what it is. But if you haven't, use that as your leverage. That is your golden ticket to put it where it doesn't shine on them. Okay. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It means a lot. Appreciate. I hope I've at least been informed when you learned something. But and anybody need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more email based, but I love phone calls too. So just reach out to me. I'd love to help anybody I can. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thanks, Josh.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
Till next time.
Happy camping soon.